Roll call, please.
President Xi,
Here.
Vice President Patel,
Here.
Ms. White,
Here.
Ms. Peng,
Here.
Mr. Romano,
Here.
Ms. Anjana Patel, Mr. Lugo,
Here.
Mr. Ronak Patel,
Here.
Mr. Errico. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Opening statement.
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, 1975, C. 231 Sunshine Law, the Edison Township Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on the Board of Education administrative offices. Copies of these notices were sent to the Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger.
Thank you. As most of you know, that we started the strategic plan about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, and it's a work in progress. And today we're gonna have a presentation. A part of the 5 pillars of the strategic plan is portrait of a graduate. So who is gonna present?
I'd like to introduce Mr. Rick Cohen and Mr. Brian McGrath. Round of applause. You can applaud.
So, good evening. I would like to thank Dr. Aldarelli, our superintendent, board president, Mr. Xi, and the entire Board of Education for the opportunity to be here this evening to share with you all of the work that has been done in relation to the portrait of a graduate. As Mr. Xi just said, approximately a year ago, the district engaged in this process of really reflecting on the work that we're doing and coming up with a strategic plan. So this evening, before we honor all these amazing students, we're going to take just a few minutes and share with you where we currently are. So a quick look back between last year and where we are now. An amazing group of people have come together to make this work a reality. We started with an action team last late winter into spring. That group assembled, and the purpose of that work really was to collaborate. On the right, on the slides, you'll see we have a list of the steps that we have engaged in. And I'd ask you to kind of go to those last 4. The process that you're about to hear about tonight is iterative. It began a year ago, and it will continue in perpetuity. There is no end to the process of refining what must be present in the education of every single graduate here in Edison. What has historically differentiated Edison Public Schools is our ability to provide students with the academic skills, the content knowledge, and the ability to become engaged and productive citizens. The work that you're going to hear about tonight not only honors, but builds upon that legacy. I'm going to ask everybody here and everybody at home to engage in a little thought experiment, if you will. On the screen, there are these silhouettes of graduates. The folks in this room, the educators that come to this great school district every day, the parents, the students, we have a common shared goal, and that is to put all of these amazing students and all of the others that come to our school district in a position of success. But sometimes we talk about school systems and much is lost. We forget sometimes that behind every decision, every step are human beings. So the portrait of a graduate is not a singular outcome. The portrait of a graduate is the result of the school district listening and responding and coming together around what it is that students need. So I'd ask everybody to just look at those silhouettes and think about your own children, your grandchildren, the students in your classroom, nieces, nephews, those who you are responsible for educating or taking care of. When you think about those children, there is no singular outcome. There is no way that any person could come to this microphone and provide you with all of the ingredients of success. It requires the district to be fluid and to constantly change and to set a path that is aligned with what our students need. Mr. Cohen's going to come up in a moment, and he's going to talk to you about the 6 elements that have come out of the collaborative process, the listening process, and the hard work that's been done to this point. When you thought about the children, the young adults, the students that we are all responsible for, I would be willing to bet that these 6 characteristics came to mind. Those elements that, regardless of your career path, regardless of your educational aspiration, must be present. So if I leave you with anything, I hope it is this. The portrait of a graduate is complex, just like your family, just like what each one of those children who you are responsible for the outcomes that they want, and for the path that they're going to take. So again, this work, it is iterative. And tonight is really just a celebration and a sharing of where we are right now. And Mr. Cohen is now going to come to the mic and talk to you about these elements, and I'll come back to close it out. So, Mr. Cohen?
Good evening. I got to bring the mic down a little bit. More vertically challenged than Mr. McGrath. Thank the board, Dr. Arelli. Thank everybody for being here. It's an honor. I'm really excited to talk about the great work that's going on in Edison around a portrait of a graduate for our students. I want you to kind of look at these as pieces of a puzzle, these 6 characteristics. And each of these pieces or each of these characteristics are both core vital academic skills for success in the classroom, while they're also core and vital social and emotional learning competencies, which are key to success in the classroom and outside the classroom. And what we're really aiming to do here is to engage all of our students in deeper learning of these characteristics, and also for them to become masters of putting all these pieces of the puzzle together so they can navigate and contribute to our diverse and interconnected schools, classrooms, and community. Oh, I went the wrong direction. You told me down, and I went up. Thank you. All right. Real quick, so we're going to go over the goals. We want to talk a little bit about the accomplishments and what's coming next of these goals. The text and the slides are going to be up on the website, and there's also great evidence of the work being done that I'll mention, or that's on the text of the slides, on our platform. So I'm going to let that do a lot of the heavy work. What I really want to talk about is some of the highlights of each of these goals and some of the work that we're really excited about that's accomplished and what's to come. So for goal 1 in communication of Edison's Polk, we've engaged students to give us some great ideas about how can we communicate best to your peers as well as to the younger students. They've given us some great ideas already, and we're going to use that to engage them in part of the communication, to take ownership of these characteristics, to model those. And we want to next get them involved in using some of the talents, the artistic talents that we have here in this room and in this district for our students to be able to express these characteristics and what it means to us and our community. For goal number 2, a lot of work to embed these portrait of a graduate characteristics into our curriculum and instruction across the board. We're super excited about the creation of Edison's own innovation process. In building this innovation process that all students can use to become innovators and create great solutions and contribute innovative ideas and solutions to problems in our community and in society. We are now have a tool that can be used in every content area, as well as in social and emotional context for every student to become a critical thinker and problem solving in any context. And so we're really looking forward to embedding this into our curriculum and instruction across our coursework so all of our students become masterful innovators and inquirers. I do want to give a shout out to Ms. Kate Gausman and a partnership with our pillar and the wellness pillar who talked about embedding executive functioning. This one process has the cell competencies, the critical thinking and problem solving skills, the characteristics, as well as the executive function skills that everybody needs to be successful in school, especially in the workplace. Next for us will be to engage students' voice in the pathways that we want to create, the academies that are coming in the next 5 years to the district, which I'm really excited. I'll talk about at the end of this presentation is some really cool academies that we want to bring in. Oh, I'm hitting the laser. All right, there we go. All right, so a really interesting thing happened when we started talking to our students about the Portrait of a Graduate characteristics last spring. We had representatives from both the high schools, and we asked, what are you experiencing from these characteristics in your life as a student? And we heard them rave about the ways in which they're applying these in so many ways already when it comes to their extracurricular activities. So we're really proud to offer an amazing array of extracurricular activities, and we're really glad to hear that we're challenging students to be navigators and contributors of a diverse, interconnected world outside the classroom after school. Right? However, what we want to do next is we want to build off the successes that the students are sharing, that they're having in extracurricular activities, where there be real critical thinkers and problem solvers and contributors to their community. But we want to bring that into the classroom so that our curriculum then is empowering students in the classroom, in their day-to-day experiences with curriculum, to be real-world problem solvers and innovators and contributors to the classroom and beyond. And so the idea is that just like if this was an example of what you might see at an extracurricular activity where kids are given, they have the tools, they have the different 6 characteristics or the pieces of that puzzle, and they are working hard together to put them together to be these contributors and navigators of society. The goal is to build off what we see as successful here and then build that up so that we can use those extracurricular great experiences to create academies here in our school for our students to be able to be engaged during the school day in these types of activities that we're able to challenge them to demonstrate all the Portrait of a Graduate. So I'm going to talk about those academies again in a minute. That's a big teaser. Sorry about all that. But goal 4, the key in order to be able to build these academies in our classrooms is to know what our students already do well and what we can do to embed into the curriculum to prepare them for all 6 characteristics of the POG. In order to do that, we've created an assessment tool in partnership with Nucella and Formative, and they've customized with us and our design an assessment tool that will show us where our students are strong with our POG and where there's areas that we can help provide more support through curriculum and instructional programs. And last week, Nucella had a big retreat out in California for their company. An employee, there was open mic to the president of the company, and an employee went up to them and said, what are you most proud of in your work in 2024? And he said, the innovative work we're doing in Edison to create assessment to really measure the different characteristics of students and their success. And then our 5th goal, student voice. We couldn't be more proud of the contributions that our students are making in terms of, what is it that's valued here? What is it that's working here? What is it that we need here? And so we've engaged them in talking first about emotional intelligence. They've demonstrated so much emotional intelligence in talking about emotional intelligence. They're very self-aware. They've shown a lot of great strategies for self-management. And next we're going to be talking to them about reading the room and social awareness as well. But then we want to take that beyond, and we want to meet with more and more students. We had a meeting with a bunch of students in December. We're going to meet with more in February, and we want to start talking about as well, what are those pathways and these academies that would really challenge you and that would really interest you and engage you in civics and ethical decision-making and innovation. So Really excited to announce some of these things, these programs that are coming based on student voice, based on the committee from the Portrait of a Graduate, and in collaboration with the Pathways Committee with Ms. Benita Gomez and Ms. Nicole Halpin. In terms of new courses that we're really excited that we want to use to engage students in deeper learning of the Portrait of a Graduate, we're going to be able to offer AP Human Geography, AP Cybersecurity, and AP Psychology. And then looking forward to the future, we want to be able to build some academies where students like the STEM Academy at Edison High, which we're very proud of, have other career pathways where they can explore here in high school, get really engaged not only in doing real-world things in the classroom, but real-world things outside the classroom. Get them engaged in internships, bringing in experts from the field into the classroom. So we're looking to build pathways and academies for computer science and robotics. We already have a great engineering program here in Edison High. We want to add on to that to build more of a STEAM kind of academies across the district, including like architecture. We want to build business academies, allied health pathways, and a lot more to be determined. But in already talking with the Pathways Committee, there's endless opportunities to build off our auto workshop and do automotive technology and hospitality, where students can leave these academies with certifications that they can use to go out and navigate and contribute our diverse and interconnected workplaces and society.
Thank you. To put a capstone on our presentation, there's a famous quote that education is not about filling a pail, it's about lighting a fire. And the work that we're engaging in simply hopes to understand our students, to position our school district in a manner that lights that fire. I couldn't have asked for a better transition. Over the last few weeks, Mrs. Daniels and myself have worked to put together some of the slides. She worked on the graphics, but all of the graphics sort of pale in comparison to the backdrop that I have for this presentation. If the students who are here tonight to be recognized could just stand for a brief moment as we transition out. Don't be shy, it's okay. For as many students as there are here tonight, and for the other 18,237 that I saw in Genesis today, this work is for you. There are different aspirations, different definitions of success, and certainly different outcomes among you and all of the students here in our district. And this is truly what a Portrait of a Graduate is about. So tonight, we will honor you for your athletic accomplishments, for your academic accomplishments, for your leadership skills, for your musical endeavors. And this work hopes to build upon those and so many other skills that you have. So hats off to you. Thank you, Mr. Cohen, and thank you to all of you for allowing us to do this. And I'll now turn it over to Mr. Shi, and we'll begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen and Mr. McGrath, for your presentation. We're expecting some more down the road. All right, so today's meeting is one of those very exciting meeting throughout the whole year. Today we recognize the achievements of all these students, and that's what they presented, the portrait of students. This is example of some of those students that we try to develop. So next up, Dr. Arorelli, introduce Mr. White.
All right, thank you so much, Board President Shi. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best board meetings of the month because this is really where the rubber meets the road in relationship to what we do as educators, school leaders, and a community, right? We are here to share in our successes and the path that got us there, just like the presentation before us. So without any further hesitation, to kick off Student Recognition Night, we have Mr. Tom White. Yeah. See?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Tom White. I'm Supervisor of Visual and Performing Arts. I'd like to take the time to welcome you all to our January Board of Ed Student Recognition Night. I want to take the time to thank the Board of Education, Dr. Aldarelli, and the principals who donated their time tonight to go speak. And we look forward to talking about really what's great about our district, and we're going to honor all the academic and athletic accomplishments from the fall season. We usually do 2 of these a year, so fall is getting covered right now, and when we do this again in June, that's when we're going to talk a little bit more about the winter and spring accomplishments. So without further ado, let's get this underway. First, I would like to introduce Principal of Thomas Jefferson Middle School, Ms. Antoinette Emden.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Dr. Aldarelli and the Edison Board of Education for providing an opportunity to recognize student excellence beyond the classroom. Students, please stand when you hear your name. Under the direction of Ms. Holly Rebovich and Ms. Mona Patel, I'd like to recognize Pranav Prasanna for placing 3rd in the Science B regional competition. Under the direction of head coach, Ms. Fatini Kasoulis, I'd like to recognize the students of Thomas Jefferson Middle School's girls soccer team for winning this year's Edison Township Middle School Soccer Tournament. Students, please stand when you hear your name. Melina Allah Jabowen, Mia Blanchette, Manor Berkey, Gianna Espinal, Alexandra Fernandez Hernandez, Leana Gamon, Sanvika Govindaraj, Nikhila Gutha, Maleka Ilamahana, Amana Kibet, Raha Kibet, Lakshmi Koganti, Mai Lee, Alexa Ochoa Perez, Delaney Pelicane, Jada Peterson, Emily Prognolota, who also set a school record for 61 career goals. Zoimi Ramirez Encarnacion, Davija Sakori, Akshara Velakapudi, Akshaya Velakapudi. Congratulations to all students and advisors recognized tonight. It is my honor to introduce the principal of Herbert Hoover Middle School, Mr. McGrath.
Again, I'd like to thank Dr. Aldarelli, Mr. Shi, and the entire board for the opportunity to honor our amazing students. I would like to begin by recognizing the students on our boys soccer team for winning 1st place in Edison Middle School boys soccer tournament. I'll start by thanking Mr. Joe Thors, the amazing coach that put all the work into getting them here. So, Mr. Thors. Gentlemen, when you hear your name, if you could please stand. We'll start with Mr. Noah Andrade, Michael Arawugan, Anthony Awadala, Abdel Carrion Pariona, Alex Dwar, Benjamin De Silva, Advi Dwivedi, Joseph Fernandez, Benjamin Ferreira Freitas, Smaler Gonzalez Campos, Varun Ketragada, Aveen Kunal, Ian Miller, Johan Anto Johnson, Kevin Adrago, Ila Petrovich, Michael Randazzo, Tiago Vieira, Luis Bravo Balbuena. Round of applause, gentlemen. Congratulations. I'd also like to congratulate and recognize those participants who placed silver medal in the FCCLA fall competition under the tutelage of Mrs. Joanna DeFrancesco. When you hear your name, please rise. Sandis Rashid, Pavishna Manakandan, and Fanu Giselle Ranslin. Congratulations. I would now like to welcome Mrs. Dr. Joni Valentine to the podium.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us here tonight. It's always a pleasure to represent the John Adams Middle School students. They are jamazing, as you know. I'd like to start by recognizing the coach of the cross-country team, Mr. Doug Pissarro. He tells me every season I'm going to come back one more time because we just keep winning, so we have to keep that attitude and keep that going. Congratulations to the following students who are first place 2024 GMC Middle School Girls Varsity Cross Country. Anvi Ahuja, Anika Anand, Kamna Balajakumar, Rishika Badavula, Savannah Kecho, Krisha Shandanara, Isabel Durek, Asara Durek, Laya Gabanathan, Sanvi Hazra, Anaya Maniar, Naisa Mishra, Sanvi Parikh, Mithra Ramji, Akshita Santhakumar, Akshara Shankar, Sanvi Shetty, Samar Sadi, Arnav Vashi, Anva Vora. Congratulations to all of those students. And again, congratulations to Mr. Doug Pissarro and the cross-country third place 2024 GMC Middle School Boys Varsity Cross Country students, Ayan Dagra, Jacob George, Darsh Gazwani, Rohan Katakumar, Sathik Landi, Vihan Lakhandi, Priyansh Maniar, Avi Mishra, Vedant Patil, Vishwaji Pradhan, Ayan Salian, Sahaj Shah, Ved Sahatra, Am Srinivasan, Anvai Tomar, Samitha Vakman, and Sumed Varshni. Congratulations to all of our student athletes. Next, I'd like to congratulate Miss Susan Sego and Miss Lauren Lopez, the advisors of FCCLA. We have several students being recognized tonight, none of whom can be here. They're busy working toward their next set of accomplishments. But congratulations to all of the students who accomplished at the FCCLA Leadership Conference this fall. We're very proud of you. Continue to be jamazing. At this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Lofak from Edison High School.
Good evening. I am honored to be recognizing our outstanding students and all the accomplishments they have achieved so far this year here at the home of the Eagles. Our accolades begin with our FCCLA students, led by advisor Ms. Megan Reeves. As you hear your name, please stand up. For What's the Buzz, third place silver medal, Harim Soheil. In Passion for Fashion, gold medal, Haley Klichevsky. Second place gold medal, Fatima Aliva. First place gold medal, Kaylin Saavedra Lopez. For Tune Into FCCLA, silver medal, Naval Ozen. For Interior Design, silver medal, Aliyah Joffrey. For Get Up and Move, second place gold medal, Shreya Bomik and Saira Mohid. And first place gold medal, Rudra Patel. For Illustrated Talk, silver medal, Aaliyah Leone and Sandhya Jain. Third place silver medal, Aniri Patel, Maimuna Majumdar, and Mihak Patel. And first place gold medal, Dhruvi Patel and Anya Jarawala. For Financing Your Future, silver medal, Ashi Tamboli, Ria Pathik, Kaya Patel, Pragya Bhatia, and Dua Majid. First place gold medal, Ishan Javeri, Yashushvi Kompella, Kavin Malavia. For Cupcake Challenge, silver medal, Stuti Shah, Karishma Kali, Gauri Chandrahasan, and Jessica Vivina Ravakumar. Gold medal, Avril Bravo and Ana Santizo Gonzalez. For Cultural Food Fusion, silver medal, Jenny Cyprian and Ashlyn Gordon. For Career Search, first place gold medal, Hasini Vumaji, Mahita Debarakanda, and Akira Kasita. For Circle Time bronze medal, Lovin Levin. For Community Counts gold medal, Rucha Deshmukh, Annalise Dantes, Tamsil Momin, Nurmit Boyer, Sarvesh Premkumar, and Rishikesh Venkateshwaraja. And finally, for Battle of the Budget gold medal, Stuti Shah and Faiza Ahmed. As you can tell, our FCCLA has been busy this year. Our athletics teams have also enjoyed great success this year, and I'm going to ask our athletes to stand as I say their names. Receiving all-white division in girls volleyball, led by Coach Jason Wernland, we have Cheyenne Singer, Sachicha Balamuragan, and Aini Syed. Receiving all GMC Team Beam and first team All-State recognition in gymnastics, led by Coach Leanne Salvatore, is Emily Henrique. Receiving all GMC Team All-Red Division recognition in girls soccer, led by Coach Kaylin Morelli, are Kaden Aravena and Isabella Charles. In boys soccer, led by Coach Steve Rubin, receiving recognition for all-white division and All-State Coaches Association are a pair of talented siblings, George Costas and Emmanuel Costas, with George also making the All-GMC team. Receiving all division, National Silver Division, and Big Central Conference in football, led by Coach Matt Yasko, are Sean Garland, Justin Boslett, and Diedrich Harvey. And finally, our award-winning band, led by Mr. Mark DiNicolo, Mr. Derek Dillman, and Mr. Michael O'Leary, has several areas of recognition in making the CJMEA All-Region. For percussion ensemble, we have Albert Battagliotti. For band, we have Charles Kurtzing, Sophia Wu, Christopher Chedge, Albert Battagliotti, and Juan Mora Herrera. And for orchestra, we have Sophia Wu and Juan Mora Herrera. Congratulations, Eagles, you make us proud. Next will be Dr. Kim, principal at the Home of the Hawks, J.P. Stevens.
Good evening. I'm very proud to be here tonight. Thank you so much to the board and Dr. Aldarelli for this opportunity to recognize some amazing student athletes, musicians, artists, and all around just amazing students. So I have a pretty long list here, and I have been practicing the names, so let's get started. We're going to start with our athletic department, led by Coach Mick Mullen. We are going to recognize from boys soccer, all GNC conference, Tanish Chathan. Also from boys soccer, the all-white division, Tanish Chathan, Ishan Manu, Abhishek Narkidi. Led by Coach Weber, we're going to recognize from girls volleyball, the all-red division, all-conference, Sophia Wang, Amy Han. Led by Coach Gesualdo, we have girls soccer, all-white division, Jaslyn Chen, Sophia Cesari, Neha Thota, Kristen Whitney. And from the all GMC conference, Jaslyn Chen. Led by Coach Ravito, we have cross-country all-red division, Sahil Nambiar, Sara Nehar, Arya Sinha, Sanvi Shah, Prisha Kulawati, and from all GMC conference, Tanvi Anamraju. Led by Coach George, we're recognizing from our football team, making Patriot All Gold Division first team, Lamar Radford, Kadir Johnson, and Marquise Webb. Led by our directors, Mr. Lee and Ms. McElroy, we're going to turn our attention to choir. These are all the students who made the CJMEA regions in treble choir. We have Advika Anand, Anushka Bala, Marcy Dangerville, Trisha Hulikari, Swara Joshi, Akira Kilson, Ambika Kumar, Mathika Mudigati, Meghna Ravindran, Hrithika Vedula. Also, in the CJMEA Regions Mixed Choir, we have Simran Arji, Smruti Arun, Surya Bansal, Sanvi Chukekar, Swara Jadav, Mirup Kaur, Amani Kankar, Anaya Mahidara, Nikul Malu, Dhruv Michandani, Mihathi, Nutupati, Victor Agunyemi, Aditya Parikh, Adrija Paul, Manoj Singh, Vedika Srinivasan, Arya Toyserkani. And from orchestra, led by Dr. Verdi and Mr. Lee, we have, sorry, it's mixed up, but it's CJMEA Region Orchestra, we have Leilani Gupal, Paige Wong, Pranav Murthy, Yashant Balagurusamy, Neha Thota, Ahana Shah, Shlok Kumar, Kinshuk Malik, Maya Shukla, Ansh Shep. Also from orchestra, All Eastern Orchestra, we have Howard Shue. And now in choir, led by directors Mr. Lee and Ms. McElroy, we have NAMFE All Eastern SAB Honor Choir, Srinitya Bhattiprolu, Sarah Dalo. Also the NAFME All Eastern Treble Choir, the Honor Choir, Advika Anand. We have ACDA All National Grade, 11th and 12th grade, SABT Honor Choir, Srinitya Bhattiprolu. We have the ACDA All National Grade, 8th through 10th, SSAA Honor Choir, Trisha Hulikari. And finishing up, we have from choir, ACDA All National Grade, grades 7 through 10, tenor bass honor choir, Dhruv Michandani and Shaurya Bansal. Okay, and now we have, led by our band directors, Mr. Zazali, Mr. Hendrickson, and Ms. Ferrali, we have all the students who made CJMEA Region Band. We have Devansh Shah, Viren Bapat, Justin Nee, Sejin Kim, Yuvin Amala Arasu, Sahil Kulkarni, Dev Zivari, Tassin Afroz, Simran Tangri, Shreyas Thirumali, Siddharth Vaidya, Reina Shirali, Christopher Juan, Johan Krishan, Taran Vakata, Pranav Velumapali, Pranav Valero, Siva Srinivasan, Rishith Dugi Mupati, Tanay Shah, Avinash Rajakal, Ishan Nadpara, Shrey Sawal, Arnav Lang, Manav Chittareddy, Nicholas Alkadi, Mahir Tadapari, Adwat Kulkarni, Devrath Puthur, Mehapreet Kaur, Brinmeet Soin. That was Brinmeet Soin. We're done with the band. We can give them all a round of applause. All right, and our last category is FCCLA. We have a lot of winners. I know they've put so much time and effort into this. So, led by their advisors, Ms. Dimitea, Ms. Zoransky, and Ms. Olenchek. So, first place gold medal, perfect score, caregiver carry-all, Shelly Dash and Ayman Masood. First place gold medal, membership matters, Mehak Patel and Neer Raina. First place gold medal, tune into FCCLA, Public Health and Safety, Mansh Gupta. First place gold medal, What's the Buzz, Drishti Banmitapati and Anjali Sinha. Second place gold medal, FCCLA Chapter Spotlight, Jenna Trotman, Druti Patel, Sanya Talwar. Second place gold medal, Interior Design Challenge event, Sia Patel, Jayotika Akulu. Second place gold medal, Illustrated Talk, issue that impact children development and education, Kritika Manwani, Neha Nirgudi. Third place gold medal, Caregiver Carry-All, Sophia Galam, Sonia Kulkarni, Kaya Patel. Third place gold medal, Battle of the Budget, Sai Rishita Kona and Janavi Singh. Gold medal, Food Fascination, Malav Shah. Gold medal, Illustrated Talk, Personal Family Matters, Kingshut Malik, Dhruv Amagoni. Gold medal, Battle of the Budget, Sidrar Garg, Om Singhal, Hitha Srinivas. Gold medal, Illustrated Talk, issues that impact food and nutrition, Aparna Nair, Hasini Yedlapali. Gold medal, Creative Stitches, Manvathi Adapala. Gold medal, Financing Your Future, Pranika Kaluri, Sanvi Batalepanumarti. Gold medal, Circle Time, Jia Sulgiri, Raja Ramesh. Gold medal, Apps in Education, Kiran Jayakumar, Meenakshi Ganasan. Gold medal, Saying Yes to FCS, Janani Kanakaraj, Nitya Alumolu, Abba Tambi. First place silver medal, What's the Buzz? Ishal Siddiqui, Drisani Chakraborty. Silver medal, Career Search, Sri Krishna Vishita Kara, Sahana Balaji Kumar. Silver medal, Creative Stitches, Charlize Asif. Silver medal, Financing Your Future, Neha Panchangmath Anya Shetty. Silver medal, T-shirt Expressions, Anvita Singhal, Avada Bade, Shivali Sood. Silver medal, Career Search, Vanshika Kothamasu, Anya Shah. Bronze medal, Cupcake Challenge, Ria Kotasaran, Emma Desa. And our last category, bronze medal, Community Counts, Pranav Rayakota and Pranav Kotkar. Let's give them all these amazing students, another round of applause. They've worked incredibly hard. Okay.
There was one student omitted from my sheet, and I would be remiss if I did not recognize him. He was a critical part of the boys soccer team at Hoover. An apology to his family who came out on this cold night. So Michael Puglisi, if you could stand, and we'll give you a round of applause that you so well deserve.
All right.
Congratulations. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Mr. White.
All right, how about one more rousing round of applause for all of our students who received the recognition tonight. And thank you again to everyone for braving the elements tonight. I had a very in-depth conversation with my personal assistant. Her name's Alexa, and she told me, and under good authority, that it's under 20 degrees outside, and it's probably going to fall to the single digits tonight. So great job, guys, finding your way here in such rough conditions. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. And this concludes our recognition night ceremony. Congratulations to all of our students being recognized this evening. And I would like to return the meeting to our Board of Education President, Mr. Jerry Shee, to begin tonight's business. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. And thank everyone for coming on a cold night like this. And when you go home tonight, please thank your parents, all right? They're your bankers, they're your chauffeurs, all right? Tomorrow morning when you go to school, thank all the advisors, the coaches for what they have done to put you here, okay? Now we're gonna have a 5-minute recess, and we're gonna resume our normal agenda. Thank you very much. Have a good night. We're going to resume our meeting. Coming up, it's a Board President's Report. I don't have a lot to say, but I just want to congratulate our students again and thank all the parents, the family members, and the advisors and coaches for all you have done. We just had a very cold night this past weekend. And I think overall that our, grounds crew did a decent job cleaning up the snows. There are probably still a couple of spots here and there in the parking lot or in the sidewalks. If the principals or the building leadership see something that needs to be additional work needs to be done, please let Mr. Colibus know. So we're gonna go and make it better, right? So, Superintendent's report.
Great, thank you so much, Mr. Shee. Members of the Board of Education, ladies and gentlemen, pleasure to be here this evening. It is extremely cold out right now, just a reminder of how cold January can actually be and looking for warmer weather coming up this weekend. So I have just a couple brief comments. Tonight, as you can see on the resolution on the agenda, we're not only recognizing our students, but we're also recognizing the volunteers that are up on the stage currently. It is Board Recognition Night. We are celebrating this month in honor of the Edison Township Public Schools Board of Education. We honor our current members of the Board of Ed for their exceptional dedication, their vision, their tireless work ethic, without compensation, right, except for the great things that we do for the community. But most importantly, their commitment for shaping the future for the students and staff here in Edison Township. Through your selfless public service, each member has worked in the best interest of our students, advocating for educational excellence. The board's leadership exemplifies the true meaning of public service, and we are so proud to stand with them in support of our community's most valuable resource, and that's our children. I would be remiss if I did not mention that the work that we have and the work product that we have presented here today is not only the work of this board, but previous boards also that have established a legacy and have done a great job in moving forward and providing continuity so that our students are the beneficiary. So I know I speak for all members of our organization in the community. We thank each and every one of you for your service. It is an absolute pleasure to work alongside of you each and every day, and I truly mean that, and I thank you. Great. And just a couple more highlights too. Just some accolades. As we're celebrating student success, Mr. Zazali reached out to me over the weekend. I think a couple of us were copied on that email too. We're happy to announce we have 22 of our band students that were accepted to the New Jersey All-State Band. These students have the honor and privilege of performing at the NJPAC on Sunday, February 23rd at 3 p.m. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to Mr. Zazali, keeping that program in the utmost, with the utmost reputation that it's preceded. So it's great, and congratulations. I had the opportunity to get out and see some winter sports last week too. I've got a couple coming up. I was actually at the Crosstown games for girls basketball varsity. Great game between Edison High and J.P. Stevens. And then we went to the home of the Eagles for the boys varsity game, which was also a good game. Great to see school spirit in there. And although they're competing against each other, we still are one Edison. And it was great to see everybody in the audience at that time. A lot of camaraderie, a lot of laughs, and great sportsmanship exhibited by both sides. Another piece for the Board of Education. As you're aware, we've initiated a Superintendent's Advisory Council. We had overwhelming number of students apply, and it was tough to kind of siphon through the many great applications that they've done, resumes, interviews, the whole 9 yards, statements. So we accepted everybody in this first year. We actually have a total of 55 students from both schools. I'll be meeting with them on the 27th on multiple topics, just to echo what Mr. Cohen had said before in relationship to the Portrait of the Graduate. We want to hear their voice in relationship to their overall academic experience here, right? Anything from academic rigor to, what they like to eat. As well as the access they have to extracurricular and co-curricular activities. I think it's going to be an excellent exercise. It'll provide me with information, right? My day-to-day, is usually not with students. I try to get into the schools as much as I possibly can, but this will actually give me a little bit of insight into what's going on. And they're high school students, and they range from grades 9 through 12 on both high schools. So I'm really looking forward to that. Next week, we are off on Wednesday. I would like to wish everybody a happy Lunar New Year for those that are celebrating it. And upcoming events between now and the next Board of Education meeting, we do have Parent University. Sign-ups, I think, are currently out right now. We sent out advertisements, and I believe February 12th is in the works. Perfect. We'll be sending those out in the works, but it will be a correspondence. Be on the lookout for that. It's sure to be a great partnership between school and the community. And without any further ado, I will turn it back over to Board President Shi.
Thank you, Dr. Alderelli. Now we have our student council representative. So we're gonna go with Edison High first. Derek Dudek.
Hey everyone. As everyone's getting settled back in from winter break, we're starting to pick things up around the school. In a few weeks, we're looking to have a Valentine's Day themed Battle of the Classes event, which will include people matching up and being quizzed on how much they know each other. And around then, we might have a Spirit Week, and if we don't have it that week, we'll definitely have it leading up to our next event. And that event coming up exactly a month from today is our annual Dodgeball for Charity event. On February 21st, we'll have music blasting in the big gym as teams of 6 to 9 players compete in a tournament wearing costumes ranging from LeBron jerseys to ballerina outfits. And we also have a Minecraft build battle coming up, a White Elephant event, and our band program is hosting a Tricky Tray event. And now looking at our sports, our boys basketball team has already matched their win total from last season. They're now 7-6, coming off of a 7-17 season, with a huge turnaround being led by seniors Deidre Harvey, Jonah Norris, and Kamir McKay, as well as junior D-Raj Sampara Boyina. The bowling team unfortunately just took a loss to Old Bridge today in a game that I just got back from. However, the team has a record on the season of 12-3, going undefeated so far in the white division and clinching the division title last week. Tomorrow is the boys bowling team's second to last regular season game, and it'll be against JP Stevens as the South Side looks to go for a season sweep. The girls bowling team is 8-5 despite a roster of mostly underclassmen, and the wrestling team is 7-6, including some blowout wins over St. Thomas, North Plainfield, and Piscataway. So lots of sports success going around this winter and plenty of fun events to look forward to as we get through these cold months to start the year. That's it.
Thank you. So I'm not going to put you on the spot. I hope Dr. Alderelli is going to get it from the student advisory as well. I heard Mr. Ross implemented a new cell phone policy in Edison High, right? So I hope that we can hear some feedback, from our students. And you don't have to answer my question right now. I left my business card to you, so feel free to reach out.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. I will.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
All right. Now we have JP Stevens, the president, Sanvi Budigam.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sanvi Budigam, and I'm one of the co-presidents of the Student Council at JP Stevens High School. So as we enter the second half of the school year back from winter break, students are back in full swing with classes, clubs, and a variety of events, which I'm excited to share with you tonight. To kick off the new year, JP hosted a Model UN conference on January 4th, where students showcased their diplomatic and debating skills while engaging with global issues. Looking ahead, we are excited for several upcoming events. The Student Council will be hosting its JPS Family Feud on January 31st, where grades will face off in a fun Family Feud-style game night, and I'll be dressing up as Steve Harvey, so you won't want to miss it. And I know you guys all want to come, and I'm glad to share that it's free for everyone to enter at 3 o'clock at John P. Stevens, January 31st, and I hope to see you guys there. Furthermore, on January 24th, the Key Club will be hosting their winter dinner, and on January 28th, the Chinese Culture Club will celebrate Lunar New Year with a spectacular exhibition. This includes a performance of the traditional dragon dance, complete with a large, intricate dragon costume, which you will not want to miss. In terms of sports, our boys bowling holds an impressive 10-3 record, and our girls bowling team is dominating with an incredible 11-1 record for the season, and both of these teams deserve recognition for all their hard work and accomplishments. And as always, it's an honor to represent JP and share all the amazing achievements. Thank you.
Thank you. I also left a business card for you as well.
Thank you.
And there's a new bathroom policy in JP. I want to hear feedback from you. Again, not going to put you on the spot, so feel free to reach out. All right? Thank you very much. So you guys are more than welcome to stay, but if you want to go home and get your homework done, feel free. All right? Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to go through our regular agenda. So you have the packet in front of you. So we'll open up for public comments for resolutions only. Public comments for resolutions only. Anyone? Oh. Sit in the front. No, I can sit in the front. So I can save a couple of seconds.
Beth Talke, 15 Midwood Avenue. First of all, under Finance and Facilities, I just have a question if you can clarify. There's an approval of RFP 2509 for certified virtual instruction to proximity learning. Exactly what is that? And also on the page prior to that, where we have the monthly financials and minutes, there's a whole box. It says administrative file attachments, and it's got bill, it's got everything there. But If you go on the computer to look for it, it's not there. So what exactly is that? I know we have the file attachments for December 17th, 2024 minutes, but nothing else is there. So do you board members have it up there? Do you know exactly what it is? And I can't tell you what page number it's on because we don't have that.
Okay.
That's it, thank you. If you can clarify those two, thank you.
All right. Dr. Alderelli?
But if I take proximity learning?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so as you're aware, we're in the midst of the largest national teacher shortage that our profession has ever seen. And although we pride ourselves on locating the very best talent, those very difficult spots from a certification standpoint, world language, high school and middle school special education teachers that require dual certification, especially in those content areas. Sometimes they're a little bit more difficult to find. And so what we do is we, number one, exhaust it through a search. Number two, we put a substitute in there, but there are limitations for length and duration in relationship to how long you're actually allowed to have a sub in the classroom. So in the interim, what we do is we utilize what's called proximity learning, and that's a virtual learning platform where it is a certified teacher in the area of certification. It's done virtually, right? So they could be in the state of New Jersey, or they could be a certified teacher in the state of New Jersey that no longer works here, but is, living in Florida, where it's currently a little bit warmer right now, and teaching world language. We do that as stopgaps until we find somebody that's permanent. But we have met with a lot of success with that. There is obviously, the greatest benefit is having a teacher in the classroom at that time. But proximity learning is a virtual learning platform that we need to utilize in the event that we're not able to find, a properly certified teacher. And then the minute that we do, we terminate their proximity's appointment, and we move forward with the very best that Edison has to offer.
Thank you, Dr. Alderelli.
Mr. Toth?
Yep, sure. So the section that you're seeing with the attachments, so the board has, each of those attachments are provided to them when they get access to the agenda ordinarily 2 days before, so they can go through, and it mimics exactly what the resolution says, the financial reports being board secretaries, treasurers, bills lists, so on and so forth, so they could review those items. And if they have any questions, they could reach out to Dr. Alderelli or I prior to the meeting.
Thank you. Any other? Yes, Joyce.
I don't know if this is time. I'm going to ask about this AI information.
That's answering the resolutions.
That's not running resolutions.
It's policy. It's part of the resolution. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Because I wanted to know, because see, I know that from being involved in state education that we're having a great literacy problem. Everybody thinks they're super smart, but everybody's regurgitating and just saying stuff. A lot of stuff that people are not using critical thinking. So I'm quite asking a lot about it, because I think AI hinders the ability for you to critically think. And I don't know if the teacher, you don't really know if the kid can really write, if they can do something on their own, because I know with AI, you can put three lines in and they can construct the whole paragraph and everything for you. So I just like to know, what extent do we want the Edison students to use a lot of AI on their assignments? Because when we send people from Edison to different colleges and school, we brag about how well educated our kids are. I don't want them to get there the first day of college and the lady said, clear off your desk, here's your assignment. And because you've been using AI so much, you failed assignment. They collect up the papers. Then when you do your assignment and you hand in the AI assignment, the teacher calls you up and says, this is how you really write. That's just me. I don't think that AI should be used in such a large quantity within our school. And I don't think it should be really used at all at the elementary level until we bring up the literacy within the state of New Jersey, because we're like one of the top education people. And it's okay for me to regurgitate what you said to me, and I can get A+ on every test. But how is it with my critical reading skills? How is it with my critical writing skills? It just bothers me because I'm with literacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. O'Reilly?
Sure. Thank you so much. Listen, I couldn't agree with you more, right? So in this policy right now, obviously Strauss-Esme is the organization that crafts policies, sample policies for Board of Education review. There was actually a list of about 15 different indicators on this policy. I think we narrowed it down to about 9 of them that we were comfortable with in relationship to the policy. And it just provides guidelines in not only what the expectation for use is for staff and students, but to create regulations based off of that, right? So in the absence of a policy, there is no real guideline for, how we utilize this massive artificial intelligence tool that, is really occupying all space currently right now. So just to read a couple highlights off of these pieces, right? Item number 2 is the policy will create an explanation on how and when and to what extent a staff member may permit a student to use AI in assignments. It requires that each staff member authorized to permit students to use AI in the classrooms. They must inform the students at that time. It has a procedure for the superintendent or designee to enact these pieces, to assign somebody as a coordinator for those components. So this is really the shell of a deeper AI plan. It actually mandates an AI plan too, how we're going to use it, to what extent, and at the same time, never to the detriment of teaching and learning, critical thinking, interpersonal skills, things that cannot be replaced by AI.
Thank you, Dr. O'Reilly. Yes, Matt.
Hi, Matt Revnak, ETA President. I just have a follow-up question with the proximity learning. I'm assuming this is being done and because we can't get a teacher during the normal school hours, meaning that there's nobody to do a .2, for example. Is it any issue because I know we've done this before, like you have, let's say, for example, a psychology class, that there's one section at Edison High, we have 5. As you know, we did last year work on virtual learning, which I know we're both against. We prefer in person.
Yes.
But I always like to see it go. I think our people in district, when possible, always do the best job. So I do want to, verify that this is really a last alternative, that we can have someone in-house do it.
Great.
Yeah.
Yep, the one example that Mr. Revnak just did cite is 100% accurate. It is a last resort for all aspects, .2s, the opportunity for our own staff in some way, shape, or form to transfer between schools, things along those lines. It has always been a last resort, absolutely.
Okay. Yes, Mrs. Conway.
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I have a question as a follow-up to what Joyce brought up on the AI. And as reading the policy, it sounded like there would be a coordinator established to make a foundation for the use of AI. Would that be another position, or somebody within the district would be given an additional with a stipend? Or it would just fall in their job? That's my first question.
Great.
Want me to say my second
Questions?
one?
Any other questions?
Okay, the other policy regarding the board members' use of social networks. This is going to be a hot year coming up with a mayoral contest and a governor's contest. And I know in the past, sometimes we neglect to remember that we're board members, even if you stand there and say 20 times, I'm speaking for my own personal voice. Well, you lose kind of your personal voice once you take your seat up there. So they don't really pay attention to the fact that Ginny is Ginny White, that Ginny is not Ginny, the Board of Ed member. So I think each and every one of you needs to be extra careful, especially this year with the politics that are going on. I was a little put off the night of the reorg that a gentleman that's running for governor came to install a board member when he's running for governor, and he's not even from our district. So it bothers me that we're stepping over the line without even endorsing. So I'm just warning each and every one of you to be careful, especially this year, because Edison has its own politic problem. I don't want it to get worse in this building or wherever the Board of Ed meeting is held. Thank you. I'll come back for other stuff.
Thank you. Eddie?
Yeah, great. Yeah, to answer your question, Ms. Conway, yes. So we are looking at actually all of those options, to be honest with you. We don't believe that it's going to be an add to staff. We think that it could be added responsibilities in the form of a stipended position, but a little bit of restructuring within a couple of the departments. We believe that we can have an AI coordinator within the existing staff that we currently have.
Okay, any other comments on resolutions? Yes, Sue.
Susan Campione, 8 Schiffer Court. Just a quick question on the support staff, the use of personal cellular telephones. The last paragraph, it says, in the event the support staff member has an emergency requiring immediate attention that requires, and then everything is crossed out. What's it supposed to say?
Any other questions?
That's it.
Okay, Dr. Alderelli?
Yep, let me just bring that one up.
Okay. Just give us a second to bring it up.
Which policy number is that? 4432?
4322.
Perfect.
4322.
I can't bring it up.
Hang on 1 second.
It's the last paragraph. There's some bolded, I guess, new language, but then, like, it leaves off half the sentence at the end, because everything else is crossed out.
Yeah, so that it's in reverse, and electronic that the stuff that's in bold actually supplants that in the bot. Yes, so the electronic communication by the support staff member on a non-school related personnel matter using a personal cell phone or other personal communications devices shall not be made while the support staff member is performing assigned district responsibilities. In the event that a support staff member has an emergency requiring immediate attention that requires such a communication while performing assigned duties. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's crossed out.
Oh, it shouldn't
yeah,
be
it should
crossed
be crossed
out.
out. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Brian?
Good evening, everybody. Brian Rivera, Edison, New Jersey. One thing I noticed being this far is I can't even see yous. So I think I'm aging where I need some glasses, so bear with me reading this and talking to you individuals. But I do have a few questions regarding the resolutions. It's been years since I've seen what the public actually sees on an agenda versus what a BOE member sees on agendas. So my question is the following. Is the bills list privileged information? Because I tried looking for the bills list today and I couldn't see where we allocated funds to. So I ended up getting a copy of it because I asked for it. If the public does not have access to this, I asked myself why the public is not provided with this information. The bills list tells the public how their money is being spent and to whom. Does the board agree with it? I hope you do agree with it. In my eyes, that's true transparency. Don't you all think that the public should know how every cent is spent here? So my question is, in the future, are we going to post the bills list so every person in the audience could see how every nickel, penny is spent? Second question. Because I was able to access it and get access to that document, I saw that there was 26 entries for legal bills payable to Iglesino and Taylor for roughly about $45,000. What were these costs for, and how much of those costs were related to Policy 5756 from this firm? I actually had a conversation with Mr. Marrow last week, and I let him know that the district, and speaking to central administration, we spent over $20,000 on that policy just for research. So I wanted to publicly know that we did our homework, and thank you for bringing it up. Number 3, I also saw there was 9 entries for DMR for a total of $223,000. There was a charge by them as per description was labeled the ISPA for $25,732. What was the scope of that project? Why are we paying them that $25,000? And then finally, I also saw a bill from Mass Masonry. And the bill was for a retaining wall for James and Monroe for about $41,000. My question is that part of the bid for the concrete service? I asked because I do not remember seeing the retaining wall building on that bid package, so I was wondering if it needed to be bidded out. So those are my 4 questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me answer the first question. The bill list, it's not privileged information. I don't know why it's not published. And there's nothing to hide. Nothing to hide, okay? As far as the other 3 questions, I'm gonna let Eddie and John answer those. But remember, those were the expenses occurred when you were on the board. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, like I was going to say, Mr. Rivera, you have some pretty detailed questions in regards to the bills list, right? So, with those type of questions, I advise you have my office phone number. Call me, and I can discuss with you them in detail, because they are some detailed questions. So I have no problem answering them. Call me anytime, or if you'd like, you could submit an Oprah request, and I can answer them that way as well.
Is it easier just to send an email?
No back and forth, please. It's easier, you can send a question to Dr. Huss, and we're gonna follow up on that, because that's a practice last year, so let's follow that practice, right? Any other public comments on resolutions? Other comments on resolutions? See none, can I have a motion to close public comments?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Romano and Vishal Patel. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so let's go through the agenda items here. Can I have a motion to approve personnel agenda?
Motion to approve personnel agenda.
Ladies
Second.
first.
I'm sorry.
Jeannie?
I apologize.
And Shannon.
I stepped to the rear, no problem.
You got to look. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Ronak Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Lugo.
Yes.
Miss Anjana Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Romano.
Yes.
Miss Peng.
Yes.
Miss White.
Yes.
Vice President Patel.
Yes.
President Shi.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now can I have a motion to approve administration, curriculum, instructions, and the pupil special services? I'm looking at the ladies.
Motion.
Okay, Shannon?
I'll have to say it earlier.
Okay, do I have a second? Joe, you can have a
I'll
second
take
this
that
time.
one.
All right.
Mr. Ronak
Oh,
Patel.
wait. Sorry, I forgot this. We need to table this policy 4322, that the issue that Sue brought up. So we're gonna table that. Do I need a motion to table that?
We have a motion and a second currently.
To approve?
Yes, after we do that, then you take and you do that as a table. So we vote on.
I can do that after? Okay, all right, so, all right, roll call. Sorry?
Mr. Ronak Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Lugo.
Yes.
Ms. Anjana Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Romano.
Yes.
Ms. Peng.
Yes.
Ms. White.
Yes.
Vice President Patel.
Yes.
President Shi.
Yes. So now I have a motion to table the policy 4322.
Motion.
Okay. Joe, you second that?
Second.
Okay. All right, roll call, please, just to table the policy 4322.
This is Mr. Ronak Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Lugo,
Yes.
Ms. Anjana Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
Ms. Peng,
Yes.
Ms. White,
Yes.
Vice President Patel,
Yes.
President Shi.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, now let's have a motion to approve finance, and Ron, and you and me, we need to abstain from the meeting minutes, December.
Motion.
Okay, Joe, you want it again?
Second.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Ronak Patel,
Abstain?
On the meeting minutes. So you can approve all the other stuff.
Okay.
Yes, everything except meeting minutes, if that's what you want.
Okay. Everything except the meeting minutes.
noted. Mr. Lugo,
Yes.
Ms. Anjana Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
Ms. Peng,
Yes.
Ms. White,
Yes.
Vice President Patel,
Yes.
President Shi.
Yes on everything except the meeting minutes.
Noted. Motion carries.
All right, thank you. So since it's very cold outside there, I'm going to switch the order. Let's open up for public comments. So anyone public who wants to make a comment, it's your time. All right, Anthony.
Anthony Mara, 5 Coletto Court. I'm here speaking about policy 5756. The LGBTQ agenda is wrong. It has always been wrong. The truth will have its day it will have its day. You can't deny truth. You can't suppress it time and time again. It will have its day. And in fact, we have a new sheriff in town. His name is President Trump. He's already issued an executive order declaring that there are only 2 genders. I sure hope that trickles down to the Edison Board of Ed. That agenda, the LGBTQ agenda, is doing serious harm to our children. They're children, and they're making life-altering decisions, and all we do is say, well, it's your choice? Really? They're taking hormone blockers, they're having surgery, altering their reproductive organs, and all we do is say, well, it's your choice? Really? My gosh. It's destroying our society, because when our children get destroyed, our society gets destroyed. The suicide rate amongst transgender students is notably higher. Everyone knows it, even they know it. The documentation on that is undeniable. We need to heed the words of our Lord Jesus Christ. He said, and I quote, "Have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female? And for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the 2 shall become one flesh. So they're no longer 2, but one flesh." 2, not 3, 4, 5. This is not Baskin Robbins where we go and choose chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and who knows how many other flavors. Some may say, well, if we repeal policy 5756, we're going to lose money. What do you say to a student who has done serious harm to his body? Well, first it was your choice. Second, we were afraid of losing funds. Really? So that's what it boils down to. We'd rather have the money, not care what happens to our children, when tonight we applauded all these students, but we don't care what happens to a student's lifelong biology, his life. He or she won't be able to reproduce in the usual way because of money, because of funding. Come on. You think that student won't have a regret? how many years down the road, I made a huge mistake, but I can't reverse it. Why wasn't I educated of the consequences? That's a question the board has to seriously consider. There are people who go to war, many wars, unfortunately, in our world. World War II, World War I, and soldiers die for what is believed to be righteous causes. They die. Don't we have the courage to stand up for our students? You're not asked to die. You're asked to make a righteous decision. Do the right thing and abolish this policy. People die in wars. All you're being asked to do is to revoke a policy that's killing our children. And of course, we can't tell mom and dad that Johnny or Mary are going to change their genders. No, because policy 5756 says there's no affirmative duty for any school district staff member to notify a student's parent of the student's gender identity or expression. In other words, keep mom and dad in the dark. I've said this before, but it bears repeating. Do you want to be kept in the dark? Your son or daughter says, I'm going to change my gender. I'm telling someone at school, and that person at school who's told says, I can't tell mom and dad because of this policy. Come on. If you wouldn't want that, why are you doing it to parents in Edison? Hypocrisy. The fifth commandment, of course, then we have the fifth commandment, honor your father and your mother. Do you feel honored as a father or mother when you're kept in the dark? Do you? If you don't, why are you doing it to other parents in Edison? Hypocrisy. Abolish this policy. Then, of course, we have boys competing with girls. Come on. That would have been a joke in my day. Now we have to fight to keep it. Fight to keep girls' sports straight and honest. My gosh. And then, of course, we have guys using girls' bathrooms. That's an embarrassment. Frankly, you should be ashamed of yourselves for allowing that to happen. Some would say, well, what are we going to replace it with? A common sense policy. Educate the student who says, I'm going to change my gender about the consequences. Increase suicide, doing serious, probably permanent harm to reproductive organs. There's nothing in the law against discrimination that says we have to have this policy. It's not needed. Abolish this policy and do the Township of Edison a favor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Yes, Joyce.
A question for you guys. Are we teaching civics in school? Did civics come back yet? It came back? Because, see, when I went to school here in Edison, we had civics, we had metrics, all the stuff these kids need to succeed. Over the years, this stuff has been leaving the school. And another thing I say, and you know, you guys probably get upset too. When I get upset is when I see all this disinformation about what goes on in the classroom. I've been in school system for over 40 years. And these people tell me what's happening in the classroom. I'm like, I've been in there for all them years. That's not true. That's really what's happening. And another thing I was talking about it with people, they say, oh, you don't know CRT. CRT, that's something that's taught at a Harvard Law School. But, you know, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what people are talking about. Like she said, piggybacking off of not bringing politics into the school and not allowing other people, I don't care if they're mayors, council, I don't care who they are, don't have them come into school spreading disinformation, because I don't think it's fair to the parents, nor is it fair to the children. I think we should, that's why I screamed about literacy. Because I'm gonna tell you something, there's a lot of adults, whether you know it or not, who are unable to process information properly, you know, and so they get disillusioned by different things. So when they hear different things, they tell it to you, and you say, well, that's not the sentence I said. You didn't process it or comprehend it correctly. And, you know, that's the only thing that really bothers me a lot. And last but not least, cursive or script, whatever you call it, because I want our students to be able to read historical documents. Are we doing that in elementary school now, or so the kids can like sign? I know the checks come in the mail now, I know, but sometimes you may have to sign something. You know, that's really important. So, right? Third grade, we're making sure we're doing in the third grade? Oh, it came
Joyce.
back. Okay, good, good. A lot of stuff, I worry about it because I'm glad it's coming back because then now we're back to full education again. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Dr. Already, you want to try?
Yes, civics is alive and well in Edison Township. It's embedded not only in our dedicated classes for history at the high school level and the middle school level, but also taught all throughout, even in the beginning of kindergarten, right? When we're being self-aware and we talk about what it's like to be a good citizen and a good friend and all of those pieces. So at the elementary level, subtly embedded, and then as you get into the upper grades, third through high school, you get a full dose of civics.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Yes, Mrs. Conway.
No matter how old you are, you learn something new each day. Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I heard that the bill list can be given out to the public. Now, my question is, when would we get it? So if we wouldn't get it until the action meeting, which is a Tuesday, when would we get it? So this way, if we had questions, we could contact you or email you any questions we had. And if it's a combined meeting and we wouldn't get it until a Tuesday or a Thursday, whenever you decide to have a combined meeting, how much in advance would we get to look at the bills? Because when I was on the board, I took it very seriously, and sometimes there could have been 9 or 11 pages of bills, and I was very adamant about looking at each and every one of them, and Jerry can attest to that. But so when would we be able to see these bills and question any of them? How much time and would we get to review them is my first question. The second question is, I haven't seen on the agenda or a presentation for our monthly update on the construction going on at the various schools in the township. I do see a bill list where you're paying for stuff, but it's really not telling us what's going on. What's the status of J.P. Stevens? What are they up to? Is there any problems going on that have to be fixed? What's going on at, say, John Marshall or any other school or JMI? What's going on with this? Because they're large sums of money, and I'd like to keep track of the construction going on in school that we dearly need. And finally, my other item is I don't see committee meetings, the minutes of the committee meetings for January. I know you had the reorg at the beginning of the month, and I saw that you got your assignments for the various committees, but it is the 21st of January, so since the reorg, are you telling me you didn't have a meeting of the various committees that we could find out what's going on with those? And I did see that out of the 9 board members, 3 of the board members are chairs of 2 committees, and 2 board members are chairs of 1 committee, but the rest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that means the other 4 are not chairs of any committees. Now, in the past, you, as a board member, you decided what you would like and you put in for it. But I don't know how evenly spread out these committees are, because you don't want to overload anyone in particular, but at the same time, each board member should have some kind of responsibility for something that they have some kind of interest in. And that's it. So that's the 3 things.
Okay. Bill list, John?
Right, so ordinarily with the preparation of the bills list, we like to get it to the board within 48 hours of the meeting, so they can answer questions. If they're going through it and they have questions, they could reach out to myself or Dr. Aldarelli prior to taking action on the bills list at a meeting such as tonight. Before that, to make it available, it's just in draft format. It's not an actual bill list document because no action has been taken on it yet. If the public would like a copy, like for instance yourself, I could supply the bills list to tomorrow. I can give you the whole thing. If you have questions on it, you can email me a question or pick up the phone and call me, and I'll answer any question on that. Since I've gotten here, and I've been here about 2.5 years now, this has been the practice that's in place. I didn't create this format. This has just been what I've inherited.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So I think the updates on facilities and infrastructure go hand in hand with committee meetings, to be honest with you, too. So we do have a facilities meeting set up for the 27th of this month, which is going to prove to be a long one. There's a lot to talk about during that time frame. And then there'll be an update on facilities infrastructure from the chair, Mr. Vishal Patel, on all ongoing projects. We have our architects currently providing us with project status updates, all of which will be made available to the board members at first, and then will be stated to the public in the upcoming meeting in February. And I think we actually have a couple scheduled before the next board meeting. So we have 2 facilities meetings ready to go before our next caucus.
Just to add on to it, the committee was released on January 10th. Although today is the 21st, actually it's only 7 days old. Okay, so committees are being planned, and we have a very aggressive agenda. You'll be very happy to see the details of these committee meeting minutes, unlike before. Okay, for certain months, there's nothing, and for this one, this year, you're going to see a lot. Okay, so just give us some time to get things together, and when when you have finance facility committee, you need vendors come in, you need some other people to come in, you need to organize it. So it takes a little time. So it's only literally six days. All right. So any other public comments? Yes, Beth.
Beth Chalke, 15 Midwood Avenue. I have a couple of questions, a little bit all over the place, going with the facilities and the finance for that. With all the construction that we've been doing in the district over the past few years, yes, we definitely do need it. Who is overseeing it all? Because after watching the meeting last week and hearing that plumbing wasn't put up into J.P. Stevens, into those new rooms, I'm not sure if that's true or not. But do we have like foreman or somebody who is overseeing the construction that's going on? We're building gyms at school. I don't see storage in those gyms. I don't see offices for the teachers there. So how functional and usable is that space? Because if we're spending a lot of money on this stuff, which we are, we should be doing it the right way, even if it costs us more upfront now, so that we can use it to its full capacity. Another question I have is, it's getting that time of year when it's going to be enrollment time for like kindergarten, preschool, and all of that coming up probably it's usually around February that it begins. I know a couple months ago, I wasn't here at the meeting, I know Ms. Conway brought up about the grant, and I know we didn't get it all. We might have gotten something from it. As a public, do we know how much we received for the grant? How much it's costing the taxpayers now for this preschool program, as well as the busing, and what's going to happen moving forward, because we know times are tight economically. I can see around us the school districts cutting funding, not getting full funding. We have gotten full funding, but there's probably not much more coming in, and with the aggressive building and so forth that we have to do on our schools, and the preschool, where's that money coming from, and how much is it costing us as a taxpayer. And that's the kind of stuff we used to get and be able to see in our minutes and agendas when it came to bills and costs, but we don't see it anymore. And as a taxpayer, lifelong tax resident here, and I'm, you know, a bunch of the people have been here a long time too, I think that since, you know, things are getting tight financially, it would be in best interest for you guys to let the public know where the money's going specifically, so that when you have to possibly go out for a referendum or, you know, bond, it is transparent where we've been putting the money, where we need to put it, instead of like a guessing game. Thank you.
Yeah, you want to take it?
Yeah, great. Thank you, Ms. Talkie. I do think we're putting the money where we need to put it, and it's in the it's in the pre-K students that are residents here in Edison Township. So it's a cost per pupil. It's actually less than the cost per pupil currently right now that we have to educate students in grades K through 5. It's in equivalent with the state rate. I think it's somewhere in the ballpark of $11,800 a student. I will tell you, there is no bigger bang for your buck. Every piece of research states that investing in a child's preschool education shows exponential growth all the way through high school. There is no greater research that shows investing in preschool provides your biggest bang for your buck in all aspects, in everything that the Portrait of the Graduate talked about today: academic rigor, social and emotional learning, all of those pieces. It's the same reason why we invested in kindergarten as well, full-day kindergarten, right? Research shows that full-day kindergarten reaps benefits as well. Listen, it's unfortunate that we didn't meet the criteria for the grant. We did talk about this with the previous Board of Education, and I informed this one. It was my recommendation to move forward on that. I am so glad that this board supported it. We are doing it with no financial impact to the taxpayer. The budget is currently the budget, and we still had, you know, listen, we had to tighten some belts and things that I wanted to move forward, and I pulled back reluctantly because every time I go to Mr. Toth, he usually says yes to me. There's a few times that he's been saying no lately, and as a result, I've had to kind of pick and choose as to what I wanted to prioritize. And I think the previous board prioritized pre-K education. I'm confident we're going to get this next year. I have a different approach in relationship to that that we're going to talk about at the pre-K committee level, as well as finance also. But I totally understand your question as a taxpayer. Currently, taxes will not go up in relationship to that, and we're investing that money in our students that go here in Edison Township. I think project managers. Yeah, you want to do that one?
Yeah, so real quick, so with all the construction projects that are ongoing throughout the district, the smaller ones, your architect by contract is not only responsible for the design, they're also responsible for construction administration through closeout. So they're the rep, making sure that everything is built appropriately and that we're getting what we paid for in the bid specs. On the large projects, not only is the architect fulfilling that role, you also have a construction manager, which is a third party, an outside firm, who's acting as the owner's rep also, who's there day in and day out, and that's mandated by law. Thanks.
Yeah. So I just wanted to tag on to this because both you mentioned finance facility. We have pre-scheduled 14 meetings this year already, 14, from January through December. 14 meetings. So there are months more than one meeting. This is all pre-scheduled. Okay, we can add more meetings. So please rest assured, the meeting is going to happen. It's going to happen every single month, and every single month there will be a meeting summary. Thank you. Who's next? The lady in yellow. You raise your hand multiple times. Yes, you come.
I'd like to first congratulate President Xi and our new board member, and thank all of the board members for your outstanding job and for your service. My name is Gerald Maglio from the Dolores Turco Foundation. We're from Neptune, but our mission is to protect children from abuse, neglect, and exploitation. And we don't discriminate against anyone. You've heard this for any reason. In the past, I've talked about some of the transgender, the legal, medical, social ramifications, but today I'd like to talk about principles over policies, beginning with the topic of love. The source of all love is God. There can be no love without God. And when he's removed from the equation, nothing is left but false attempts to gratify the senses. The opposite of love is not hate, but to use another person for one's own satisfaction. Marriage is the ideal context for sexual relationship and sexual education, and the best context to raise children. The vast majority of parents and teens agree, and this is supported by laws and also professionals and government agencies that stress abstinence. But that's not what we're teaching in schools. Instead, we teach them sex for pleasure, and as long as they don't become pregnant, anything goes. We teach them anal, oral, and contraception, and that children are a burden to be avoided at all costs. But contraception doesn't protect their hearts, and it doesn't protect them from STDs. And then we wonder why they're sick mentally, physically, and emotionally. We're puzzled by the STD epidemic with 20 new cases every year, and half are between the ages of 15 and 24. We question why they're depressed, suicidal, and some turn to drugs and escapes and drop out of school. But the solution to all these problems, there is one, and it's rooted in God's design for love. Research shows that if teens graduate from high school, get a job, get married, and then have children, there's only 2% chance they'll end up in poverty. And this is known as the success sequence. Research also shows that married couples are the happiest, healthiest, most prosperous, and have the best sex lives. They're compelling reasons to return to the true meaning of love. These kids want love. Those of us that have known true love know it means sacrifice, but the rewards are beyond any momentary gratification. Instead, there's a push to commodify the body, where it becomes a product for sale. Sex without love leads to every kind of misery: porn, diseases, rape, sex trafficking, to name a few, where 50% of the victims are children, and the average age of entry is 12. Most of these involve harm to women and children. Porn is not harmless. It teaches men to treat women as objects instead of human beings created in the image and likeness of God. It teaches boys that when girls say no, they really mean yes, and it gives them permission to rape and sexually assault girls. Sadly, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 7 boys are sexually assaulted before they're even 18. Today, there's an agenda to replace the spirit of love and life with technology and materialism. There's a connection between the transgender ideology and transhumanism. Tech wants to replace the genuine love, twisting the sexuality of human being created by God's design to love and to be loved, consummated in a union between a man and a woman that's ordained as marriage. And God wishes to have this intimate relationship with each of us. This is the optimal standard for sex education. And as part of a poverty prevention program, our foundation brought these optimal standards to Barringer High School in Newark, which has one of the lowest graduation rates in the state and one of the highest poverty, teen pregnancies, STDs, and violence. As a direct result of that program, 100 students were accepted into college, and 58 maintained a 3.0 or above average. I just wanted to point out that being from management, I realize that the buck stops here, and I'm not here to give you problems, but here to provide solutions and to make education great again. If you want best performance from your students, you have to give them the best standards in education. You have amazing students here, and if you give them excellence, they will rise to the occasion. But if you dumb them down, that's exactly what will happen. In contrast, technology, we have a technology society that replaces love with sexual gratification. Transgender is a technological response to a heart problem. A heart is broken and needs repair, and we offer that child mutilation and sterilization instead and lead them to believe that that will replace the longing in their hearts. But the more that opens the door to transhumanism, replacing love with dependency on technology. The more we get used to technology replacing human interaction, the more we become dependent upon tech and more isolated from love of others and love of God, and become less human in our interactions and capable of accepting atrocities like the mutilation of children and trafficking. I see my time is almost over, so I just wanted to say in conclusion that transgenderism sterilizes the body just as transhumanism sterilizes the mind and opens it up to a power greater than oneself. You can choose God as your higher power or technology, and I urge you to choose God because it will bring will bless you and your families abundantly and bring success to all your endeavors. And thank you again for the opportunity to address this board.
Thank you. Sue in the back.
Sue Campione, 8 Schiffer Court. I just wanted to let the seniors at both high schools and their parents, probably more specifically. I serve as the chairperson for the scholarship committee for the ETEA. The applications are at both high schools with the guidance counselors. Please make sure that you get them. There are 3 scholarships given out at each high school every year, one for a future teacher, one for a future nurse, and then a general one. And last year, I know at one of the schools, it was a lot of last minute and help from Dr. Aldarelli to get the word out to the kids directly. And then we did have a lot of students fill them out. They're due the end of April because Edison High's award ceremony is a little bit earlier than JP's, and we have to pick winners. So please make sure you visit the guidance counselors and get copies of the scholarship applications. Thanks.
Thank you. So, Dr. Already, it's a great point that can we have the guidance department or, school administration send emails to the seniors, tell them to, go apply, because we have many, many different scholarships. And anything helps, especially nowadays. If we can remind them, tell them to come in and get these applications, get it going, instead of missing out on the opportunities. Lots of money involved, and just don't forget it.
Absolutely, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anthony? Thank you, Sue, for bringing that up.
Anthony D. Amron, 25 Wiley. First, I'd like to say, give a shout out to the kindergarten class over there at James Monroe. The little one came home the other day praising, talking about Dr. King, and that's extremely important. And I was glad to see. So she was couldn't get the words out of her mouth fast enough to tell us about him. So that's terrific. I just wanted to pass that along. Also, quick shout out to the portrait of the graduate. I can tell you this from personal experience. Megan was was one of those individuals on that portrait of the graduate, and she took it extremely seriously. I know they all did. So they put a lot of work in, and it sounds like it turned out to be a good thing. So good job, babe. Let's see what else. Oh, let me get to this. You know what? Speaking of the kindergarten, and I guess the district didn't get their the funding for it. I just want to make everyone aware that, and maybe this is to help going forward to the superintendent, that the mayor of Edison had brought on as the township attorney the Assembly Speaker's law firm, Craig Coughlin, the Assembly Speaker. His law firm represents our township. The mayor has a direct line of communication to the Assembly Speaker. The fact that you have to now cut areas to make it work, and I understand you're not going to raise taxes, that's terrific, but the fact that that has to be done is unacceptable to me. And I'm telling you, as someone who's worked with the previous administration, you need it. You're going to have to lead them to water here, but that could be done. The mayor in the past has taken credit for a lot of hard work that previous boards have put in, including Mr. Shee. I know Shannon was on the board. If I forget everybody, Ms. Conway, you were on the board. Laid the foundation to get funding, and he took the credit for it. All right, despite the football, and you know what? It's when he's got to put some work in, he's nowhere to be found. And those are my words. And you know what? The fact, and it's the same constituents that he's. We're all in Edison here. So again, he has direct line of communication to the Assembly Speaker, and who can make that happen, who could fix that pretty quickly, I would think. So it's just it's remarkable, but that we have to cut it in other areas because we didn't get that. I also want to give a shout out, who was Councilman Brescia was on the school board too, and I know he helped with that big time. So I wanted to say that as well. He's passionate about that as well. The cursive, Mrs. Joyce, you took stole my thunder there on the cursive. I actually was going to discuss that tonight. Crazy. But and it's funny too, because I write in my notes the Constitution and how many students entering middle school, let's say, that are leaving elementary could read the Constitution, read it. It's a hard document to read on its own, and in full cursive, it's difficult. So and as Megan was bringing up to me, she's the cursive it does something. It's helpful in a lot of different ways, the way you have to think about writing and so on and so forth. So I guess, is it in the curriculum? And if so, is it teacher to teacher? Because from what I understand, I think, and I could be wrong, let's say they learn it in second grade. In third grade, they don't have to necessarily, that if teacher doesn't want to use it, they don't need to use it. And to me, that's just, it just seems to me, it might defeat the purpose in a sense. Just keep it going. I think it's important for them to sign their names going forward, signing a check or whatever it may be, if there's still going to be checks around. But for those purposes, I think it's important, especially to read it. It'd be nice, that would be nice. Let me see what else. I just a really quick question on this. I just happened to be looking. I just saw it. On the pamphlet, there was for out of district. Are these all the students total that are out of district, or no? Right? Oh, just changes. Okay, all right. I probably should have read it. And no, it's fine. No, it's fine. All right, that answers my question. That's all. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, you want to address the cursive?
Third grade cursive. It's so funny. This really resonates with me personally because much like at work, at home, I also provide lists of things to do for the people that I live with. So I know you might find this funny, but the staff in the back does not. But list of things to do, like when it was snowing out the other day, I pinned a Post-it on the door for my son who's there, and I wrote, shovel the driveway, salt it, and, take out the garbage. And it was in cursive, and none of it was done.
They didn't come to Edison School.
And I can't, listen, right? I can't prove it, but my oldest son, who is a senior in high school, said, "Dad, I can't read cursive. You got to write it in regular print if you want me to do it." The next day I wrote it in regular print, and he still didn't do any of the things that I assigned to him. So there has to be obviously some monetary value with it. But we do teach it in third grade. We reinforce it. Ms. Goomer would be able to shed a little bit light on the reinforcement grades in relationship to that. Listen, as somebody that writes exclusively in cursive, I do understand what you're saying. Tough to change with the times. Unfortunately, it's alive in Edison. I can tell you that. It's definitely taught. But students, as they get older too, will either choose to write in it. A lot of stuff is done electronically now too, but I get it. Listen, signing a check, signing any type of document, a certificate or anything along those lines, it's definitely a worthwhile skill in my opinion.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, Carol.
Carol Podolsky, 39 Jonathan Drive. I know what it's like to sit up there, and it's not a comforting place to be because everyone's looking at you and telling you what's wrong and why they're not happy. But I just wanted to tell you that tonight, all of you, and especially what went on here tonight, has made me very happy because all those students who made all those great accomplishments were recognized one by one, by name, in the presence of their parents in many cases, which is just wonderful. I know that there are different skills, there are different areas that they all have succeeded in, but it's the success, not that it's music or that it's football or that it's FCCLA. Who knows what that is, right? But that does cover a lot of areas. And it just was like a culmination of seeing what all the things you do every day, and all of us do, parents at home help with the children, to learn and to do what the teachers are teaching them, despite the state regulations, despite the financial hardships, that allows them to take pride in something they've learned and performed and done and be recognized for it from their school. And most of the ones, or many of the ones, were not high school students, so they're not used to the big flashing lights and brightly colored chairs permanently embedded in the floor. But this is a really special thing for all those students. And I want you to know that at my house, all those signed documents are still there. I don't know if any of us could find them, but they are still there because they make a difference in these children's lives. And you make a difference in their lives by sitting here and clapping and listening to each one of them. So to me, tonight was a gift. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you're right. The FCCLA cover a lot of areas. One of the ones I found is a cupcake challenge. I don't know what it is. It was really interesting. So Matt, I think you move it up. You ready?
Mr. Rivera and I were debating who's going last.
Mr. Shi?
Okay.
Mr. Shi?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, please?
Yeah.
We're looking for bus drivers. Never mind, thank you.
Okay, Matt Revnek, ETA president. So 2 things actually. Number 1, to jump on Sue Campione scholarship, we also have our volleyball tournament coming up, the staff volleyball tournament on February 20th at J.P. Stevens. And that's a major fundraiser we have throughout our buildings for 3 local charities. So if you're doing nothing, you'd like to contribute or whatever, please come out and join us that night. The second thing I want to bring up, and I was waiting for a board member discussion because I figured it would come up at that point. I don't do social media, but I do have people report to me when things are out on social media of importance. And the issue I want to bring up and talk a little bit about is the heating issues in the schools. All right, I know it's been about social media. My phone and email have been blowing up for the last couple weeks from staff members, et cetera, throughout the buildings. I personally have been visiting buildings to see what's going on. And I do want to assure people out there, my members, but also the parents out there, that the gentlemen sitting in front of you are doing everything they possibly can to fix the situation. Dr. Aldarelli, Dr. Huss, and myself, and Mr. Campione in the back met this afternoon. It was a topic of discussion. I've already talked also to Mr. Toth. And especially I want to give a kudos out there to Mr. Colibas and his assistant, Mr. Murphy. I was actually with Mr. Colibas last week when he was on the phone speakerphone so I can also be part of the conversation with the vendor, the heating company. They're doing everything in their power to try to get this rectified. All right? Now, I know, I'm not making excuses for anyone. I know it's not easy to tell the teacher or the students that are going into a classroom and it's 58 degrees in the room, especially when you have cold temperatures like we're talking about tonight and tomorrow. But it's not from lack of effort. It's not going on deaf ears. I've been in constant contact with these gentlemen. I've talked to Mr. Colibas even on the weekend at times about these types of issues. Dr. Aldarelli and I have texted at times about them. So I do want to let the people out there, my members, our teachers, our staff at the schools, the students in the schools, that it's not going on deaf ears. No one is ignoring the situation. These are old buildings. They're old systems. Parts sometimes are very difficult to come by. And, when Mr. Colibas has been informed of these things, he jumps right on it. He's asking the company in my presence, please get someone out there like immediately, and within an hour, there's been people showing at the building to try to remedy the situation. We talk about putting air conditioning in the schools. That would probably be needed maybe the month of September and possibly May and June, but heating is something that has to go on from like October till April, depending on the weather conditions. So, again, for my members, our teachers, our staff, as well as the parents and students out there, when you're in a room, for the most part, other than certain areas, the students are there for 40 minutes. I'm using a high school as an example. The teachers are there for 5 times 42 minutes, sometimes 6 if they have a .2 in the same room. So we get what you're saying. I definitely sympathize with you. Hey, I know I took a couple of my board members out. We went to Applebee's, and it was freezing in Applebee's as we were sitting having dinner tonight. In fact, we wanted to come to Edison High School because we knew it would be warmer than Applebee's was. So we get it. The administration gets it. Mr. Colibas and his crew get it. Everybody's trying their darndest to get this fixed. And believe me, I'm sure the company gets it. They have other contracts as well. They don't need to spend 24 hours a day in Edison, but they are doing what they can do to get things remedied as well. So I personally appreciate everything you guys are doing. I'm hoping we can get all these things fixed and taken care of sooner rather than later, especially with, let's face it, we're in January only. We got another couple very cold months, I'm sure, coming up, and hopefully these things will be fixed. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, that's one of my questions, that for Dr. Aldarelli to provide an update since you started. Why don't you provide an update as to the heating issues in the school district?
Yeah. So, and thank you so much, Mr. Revnak, for that piece. There were Mr. Colibas as well as Mr. Murphy, myself, and Mr. Toth, and Ms. Betchy. We meet weekly at the beginning of every week to talk about various issues in relationship to maintenance, snowplow, the amount of work orders that are going on. Heating has been a very a big topic of that conversation, especially in a couple of the classrooms that we're aware of right now. So I can assure you this. If staff members notify their building principal, it goes to Mr. Colibas, and he's on the scene quickly. I mean, much like what Mr. Revnak had just said, weekends, weekdays, at all hours, Will and Scott are available. We know of a couple, and listen, if it's a broken coil, right, which I believe it's in a couple classrooms over at J.P. Stevens, and maybe at Hoover too. I might be getting that wrong. I don't have the list in front of me. Broken coil, requires getting that part and then installing it. So the minute that the part gets here, we make sure that somebody's on the scene. So depending upon that turnaround time, it could be anywhere for a couple days to a week, unfortunately. But in the event, listen, building principals are also creative. If there is an extra space that they can move a staff member for at least a period or two, a vacancy, I have no doubt that they'd be willing to accommodate those pieces too. But the one thing I can assure you is that if we're aware of it, we definitely take care of it. Your concierge would be building leadership and then facility manager as well. That reports directly up to Mr. Colibas. So the ones that we're aware, a couple classrooms at Edison High too that had coil issues and things along those lines. But as soon as it's brought to our attention, you know, we work to resolve it as quickly as possible. Because one of the things we want to make sure is that students and staff are comfortable, not only to work, but also to learn.
Yeah, there were also concerns about the gym in the JP.
Yeah, the gym in JP Stevens. And so the auditorium is currently being worked on right now. It has a relatively large, it's blowing a little bit of cold air into there currently right now. Could be, leaking into the gym, especially when it's 9 degrees outside in the morning. We actually had a conversation today with Mr. Colibus too about revisiting when our setbacks are put, right? Times that heating goes on in specific areas. So we're going to look to remedy that. That was just brought to my attention later this evening. So yeah.
Building management systems.
We'll address that with the building management systems.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Brian.
Good evening, everybody. Brian Rivera, Stony Road. Again, I'm blind, so I apologize. The first thing I want to say is I'm very impressed with some of the people that are in this audience because they're picking up on some of the information that's been stated on the board. Like Beth, Anthony, you asked very good questions. And I'm glad that tells me that the public's paying attention to what's going on. I promise you, Eddie, I never said anything in regards to pre-K. That's going to end up coming up, and we're going to have a nice conversation because board members sitting there know exactly what occurred with pre-K. It wasn't as cut dry as it seemed to be. But eventually we'll get to those conversations. But I do appreciate the public. It just tells me the public's paying attention. So again, thank you. Besides that, Mr. Toth, through Eddie or whoever, I know the agendas have to be posted 48 hours for the public, correct?
48 by policy.
I believe it's 48 hours, so with that said, maybe that's the time the bill list could be sent to the public so they know 48 hours when the agenda comes out. Also, when I was on the board, there was always changes to agendas, and people got confused. Like I would read the agenda on a Sunday night, and then on Tuesday it changed. One of the practices that Dr. Aldarelli did was that he highlighted stuff in red. So people who read the agenda ahead of time were able to notice that there was a difference to the agenda. So I'm asking if that could be something that the public could also be a part of. So if they do read the agenda earlier, if there is a change or something added, the public is able to know about it and also address it, even if it's on the bills list as well, if there's an additional charge. Just an idea. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was I have my own statement that I wanted to read, so bear with me. So I'm here again to discuss about some of the stuff that I discussed last week. I'm here just to follow up on some of my concerns regarding some of the recent committee assignments that I presented last week. I specifically discussed my concerns with the finance and facilities appointments. Having the right individuals on the Finance and Facilities Committee is essential to ensuring the efficient and responsible use of taxpayers' dollars. We all know that. The right leadership fosters trust, promotes continuity, minimizes errors, ensures that every dollar is utilized effectively to support the educational goals set by the superintendent of schools. It's his goals. As emphasized last week, the absence of appropriate leadership and expertise on this committee can lead to inefficiencies, cost mistakes, and missed opportunities to enhance in the district's learning environments. So last week I brought up 3 concerns. The need for continuity on this committee to ensure there's informed decision-making, the importance of the consistent representation to prevent oversights such as those that occurred with JP Stevens, and there was oversights. I had the conversation with the superintendent and business administrator and Chris, so obviously it happened. And the clear conflict of interest involving Vishal Patel, who has a history of disregarding board policies and legal advice, previously attempted to sue the district for legal fees resulting from his own actions and inactions as a board member. He should not chair that committee, nor should he sit on it, because he has a conflict of interest. I believe we all believe that. It's a monetary conflict of interest. So it might be a question that the attorney might want to discuss. But I honestly think that's a conflict of interest. If you're trying to get money from the board, how could you sit on the main committee that would give you that? I also have other examples I can provide for the board members and the public if need be. I respectfully ask the board to please review current assignments prior to the next board meeting. I noticed you said you put the next 14 meetings and stuff like that, which tells me that I wasn't listened to last week. So I'm urging the Board of Education to please have this conversation. I really do believe there's a conflict of interest there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Ross Del Conte, 960 New Dover Road in Edison. I just wanted to reemphasize the whole conversation about cursive. And, you know, it's been talked about a lot tonight, but it is part of our history. We teach history, I believe. I think that's still in the curriculum. So as a part of history, it should fall under that curriculum as well. So putting cursive, making sure the cursive is taught extensively, maybe not just 1 year of curriculum, multiple years of cursive to make sure that our students can understand documents and literature that is written in cursive so they can read it. I won't beat that anymore. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. This town has become a political nightmare with the town council meetings, the library board, and I just started to see it a little bit tonight in the Board of Education. We're still getting 6 minutes to speak. Town council reduced it to 4 minutes. They have a decorum ordinance that they passed. You folks haven't morphed into that nightmare yet, but I did see a little bit of it tonight when Mr. Rivera, at the end of his presentation earlier, had a short back and forth dialogue, I think it was with you, Mr. Toth, where you were trying to explain to him how you can communicate, whether it was email or whatever. And he was basically trying, I believe he was trying to ask a question as to what would be the best course of communication. And he was shut down with words that really sink in with me. The words were no back and forth. That wasn't back and forth. That was clarification. So, Mr. Shi, as the president of this board, please don't start acting like the past administration and our town council to create an embarrassing environment for the Edison Board of Education. You guys are better than that. So please maintain your own decorum. It's not about shutting people down. It's about getting the points across. And I'm not going to take 6 minutes. A lot of people that were up here didn't take 6 minutes. But he still had time left. And it was merely a question of what was the best form of communication so that they can resolve the issue. But you shut them down. No back and forth is what you said. Stop it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? See none? Can I have a motion to close public comments?
Motion.
Second? Do I have a second? Okay. Vishal and Joe.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now we'll open up for board member comments. Any board member? Any comments?
Can I go?
Yes.
So Eddie, I have some questions and comments about the AI policy plan.
Sure.
I know you are meeting with all the students. I would request you to instigate these questions to them because they are the one who is using it left and right. Maybe they have an idea on how to use it responsibly, and how to not use it in appropriate manner. So And then second thing is, if I would love to be part of any coordination, if you need my help. I mean, I do that for a living, so would happy to chime in to craft that policy.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other board member comments? Okay. See none, I have some questions for Dr. Aldarelli. So I have some concerns, heard some concerns from parents about students have multiple tests in a week, and they have multiple tests or assessment in a day. Some of them had like 3 or 4 assessments in a day, which is, not optimal. So can we look into spread out a little bit, not to have them concentrated on one day or 1 week? That's one. The other is some of the assessment tests in the district, the students were not given the results of these tests. So they did not know what was wrong. And when they went to ask the teacher says there's a policy that says we don't show the test to the students. If I recall, we don't have that kind of a policy. And I hope that the curriculum committee or whoever can look into this to make sure that the students actually see what's wrong, so they can make they don't have the same mistake next time. This is also, maybe a thing for the AI, because we talked about AI. Right now with ChatGPT and a lot of the other stuff that's being used, we can probably provide a question to AI and have AI help us generate something in the same complexity, same difficulty. It's a different question. So the reason is because we can reuse a test, but we can generate a totally different question with a similar complexity. So if we can look into that.
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Shea. Yeah, in relationship to the assessments, obviously, teachers work really hard to make sure that students aren't overburdened in studying for multiple main assessments over the course of a time. They do coordinations with that. There are times when, unfortunately, some of them may fall towards that, but we'll definitely look into those pieces. As far as the answers not given to the tests, I'll touch base. I'm assuming it's middle and.
This is a math test, for high school.
Yeah, so I'll touch base with Mr. Cohen to see what the criteria is for those pieces, just to see if it's if it's an entry exam or something along those lines. But I will definitely follow up with that. AI in relationship to developing tests of the same rigor and content, I think that's a tool that teachers have accessible to them. In order to listen, I mean, AI assists in lesson planning and making letters better, right? It's always good to get a second look at those pieces. But yeah, I think you brought up all good points in relationship to that.
Thank you. So just to respond to public comments, today people mentioned a lot about the committees. The committee has been formed, as I said, it's only 6 days old. And we have a lot of committee meetings has set up throughout the year. And we have a very aggressive agenda this year. So I can't wait for the committee to starting, so we can move forward with what we try to do. So that's it. That's my comments.
Can I go again?
Yes.
I'm going to start following Mr. Shee's tradition on asking questions, right? So one comment on the test is they are giving the answers, but they're not showing their own exam paper, right? Because if the quiz was taken 2 weeks before, kids doesn't remember what they answered. So I think they should be shown their own exam paper so they know where they did the mistake.
Great, thank you. Yep, I'll follow up with more detail. Perfect.
And I think one more feedback I got from some of the students at JP is the internet in the gym is not working. So they said when they try to request a bathroom thing, they cannot because internet is not working. Part of the reason could be there is a multiple study halls happening at the same time. So if somebody can look into, router or something.
The auditorium has a little bit to do with that currently right now, but I understand what you're saying. Yep.
Oh, the digital hall pass?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no
so they
signal?
cannot request, I was talking to a group of girls and they said they cannot request it because there's no internet.
Yeah, because I also heard that one girl used 9 minutes, and she got into some sort of a problem. All right. So anybody else? Yes, Ginny.
I just wanted to add my congratulations to all our amazing students and their teachers and coaches and everybody who supported them for this student recognition night. This is always such a pleasure. And I would also like to say thank you for this beautiful award that we all received.
That's
And,
cursive, too.
Everybody got
The
one.
names are cursive.
You know, and it's, it's really, really so nice. Not necessary because we get rewarded by a million little things, And, it's such a pleasure, an honor to be up here to serve this way. But thank you. I have a special spot for this. That's it, so.
Thank you, Ginny. Anybody else? Okay, see none, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn meeting.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, you reverse order. Okay. All right, the meeting is adjourned. See you guys next month. Thank you very much.